All right, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight, as per usual. Somebody just stated Kamala Harris won because of Eminem, I guess, right? He supported her or whatever nonsense. And again, it doesn't matter. Everybody thought Kamala Harris was going to get this great spike because of Taylor Swift, so that didn't happen. Whatever. Mr. Landfill, Joe, Flown Grown, thank you for the 5x5. Elaine, William, Loretta, Sparky, Maria, thank you for the 5x5. Prep to Adapt, Krista, thank you for the 5x5. Kathy, Uptech, Brian, WTC, Old Man, Raccoon, Spotted Fawn, Dan Phillips, thank you for 5x5. Patty, Michelle, Renee, Tina, Nora, thank you for the 5x5. 1 second after, Dwayne, thank you for 5x5. Devil Dog, Christopher, Paul F, thank you for 5x5. Loretta, sorry, Let's Go, Cheryl, SR, thank you for the 5x5. Mars, Heather, AJ, Terry, thank you for the 5x5. The chat's fine. I don't want to slow it down because if I have to slow it down, I have to go back into the account, and I really don't want to, out of sheer laziness. So, excuse me. You could slow it down on your end by like pausing it, but on my end, I'll do it next time. I keep saying that shit too, and I never get around to it. But yeah, I know each show I have to slow it down by like 20 seconds. If a lot of people get on, I will slow it down, but there's only 400, so it should be fine. So, got this nasty fucking taste in my mouth. Took these stupid pills. Now it's leaving a really, really nasty taste. I'm about to get Brillo pad and scrape the shit out of my tongue. Yeah, I am tired. I had one hell of a weekend. All at work, but one hell of a weekend. It was just one of those busy weekends that we have. Not so much, at least not as busy as this. This shit was insanity. It was just stupidity all weekend. Again, at the Firehouse, or rather, in the city. Just the sheer stupidness we went on, and around the clock too. At that, like, no sleep for the weary, man. There was no resting. There was no downtime. It was busy. It is what it is. It happens sometimes, but it's not the end of the world. Harris is our. Someone said Harris is our president. Whatever, debauchery or debauchery, whatever the hell your name is. Falcon, I want to hear firefighter stories. Maybe next time. Or listen, when people go, hey, you have any good firefighter stories? That's where I go blank. I'm like, But then, like, we'll talk about something, and then something will click, and then I start going. Then I'll come up with a story. Not come up with. It'll make me rethink a story. But offhand, when people ask me that, it's like, I go blank at that point. I don't know why. It always happens. Like, I do an interview. Someone's like, you got any good fireman stories? I'm like, so many. I just don't know where to start. But anyway. Larry, who cooks at the Firehouse? So every now and again, it goes by whoever falls into a certain spot. Let's just call it the cook spot. And I fall into it every now and again, and I cook. The men don't like it when I cook, but I do cook. I only have 2 staple meals. 3 if you count burgers, but chicken marsala and meatloaf. Oh, and half chicken a man. If done right, half chicken a man. Your 9/11 story is the best and most tragic. Yeah, if you can remember that, I mean, then again, I did do a video on it, but whatever. From hiking, the fire department gets funding from hiking people's property tax. At least not here in New York. It's not how that works. But I have heard that before. So, I have 2 firefighter cookbooks. And those cookbooks are good. I mean, but people like, when you look at like cookbooks and you go to like a fireman's cookbook, it's just what we make in the firehouse. And firehouse cookbooks are probably good for like if you're cooking for a mass amount of people. Anything over 5 or 6, those are good. But other than that, they're all right. I have yet to see a fireman's cookbook in a firehouse. So, Firehouse is full of meth. Our firehouse is full of meth. Are you in Staten Island or are you somewhere else? Because someone said he's not a firefighter. People, let it go. Some people just don't know. Maybe he missed the I came back video. I don't know. Who cares? Not the point. The point is, Cuban sandwich is good. I used to cook those a lot. That was my other specialty. But I don't eat pork anymore, so I stay away from Cuban sandwiches. As much as I miss them, I stay away from them. So Clay B is asking, how crazy do you think it's going to get in the next couple of weeks? I don't know. Because we could sit here right now, or I could sit here right now and be like, oh, guys, it's going to get off the hook, and then nothing happens. All I know for sure, like 100% sure, is that we need to stay ready for whatever happens. Because if Trump wins, things can go, as far as civil unrest-wise, it can go sideways. I think we will, debauchery, whatever the hell the name is, Trump lost in a landslide. He's not going to lose in a landslide. If Trump loses, this will be really, really tight. Whether they take it or not, it's going to be super tight. If they don't, it's going to be, like, really, really tight. And if it is really, really tight, he is clearly going to win because they're going to do what they have to do to make it so. But what I was saying, guys, is that just stay ready. That's all we can do. We can only stay ready because we don't know which way it's going to go. Again, if he wins, I think we're going to see some real big-time baby crying. If Kamala Harris wins and there is no proof, or at the very least no proof of taking it, then we're just going to act accordingly. That's all we can do. But there are so many people stating they can't take 4 more years of this shit. I get it. But listen, I think they're going to take this election. I absolutely do. And I think Kamala Harris is going to be the next president. Unless some crazy shit happens between now and then. I mean, they seem to be panicking, the Democratic Party. They got Eminem. You know, he's like little Slim Shady on the stage, fucking introducing either Obama or Kamala Harris. I don't know what it was. I know it was in Detroit. But, yeah, things are they're getting desperate. And here's the crazy shit, guys. It's like the people of Detroit, they're morons, right? So a lot of these people who go to these DNCs and RNCs, you're an idiot if you sit there and you applaud some fucking celebrity. Now, yes, do celebrities have the rights to speak about who they're going to vote for. But when you start campaigning and in your videos or in your music videos, you're sitting there talking about, oh, this guy, you know, is the devil, talking about Trump, and then she's going to save us. Now you're a piece of shit. Like, every celebrity should be like, yeah, I'm going to vote for such and such. I'm going to vote for such and such. And that's it. If someone asks you the question, to go campaigning and or to use your platform to push, like Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift's support for Kamala Harris did not drive Kamala Harris's points up like they thought it was. They thought once Taylor Swift started talking about or supported Kamala Harris, they thought Kamala Harris's votes or popularity in polls was going to shoot up, and it didn't. The needle moved, that's for sure, but it didn't skyrocket like they thought it was. They thought she was going to bring in all of this, and people are seeing through the bullshit. People are seeing that the DNC, that the Democrats, every time they have a rally, they have some dancing, singing Negro there. The fucking Negroes are shuckling and jiving and shit. Yes, sir, both sides will vote for, right? Now, though Eminem is white, he's a white Negro. He's tap dancing and step fetching and the whole 9 yards. He's doing it, you know, on the other end. And people are like, if Eminem's going to support Kamala Harris, so will I. No. The people who support Kamala Harris, like I said before, are the soy milk, oatmeal eating, vegan-esque people. Men, rather. Like that whole shit, like men for Harris. I saw that video. Somebody sent me that video. I watched the video and I almost threw up. I was like, what is this? What in the fuck is this? Why are there men talking about, I'm a man, and I vote for I'm going to support Kamala Harris. I'm a man that allows women to have women's rights. I'm like, where in the fuck did this come from? Like, why are we... So, that video was a nightmare. And it was just a way, like, they had this guy who was built like Grimace. Or I would call it an amoeba body, right? He's some kind of shape, he's just big, and he's there. And he was like, I'm a man. Meanwhile, like, they took the weakest looking guys they could possibly find. I'm pretty sure these were gay dudes who were applying for an acting job, and they went out there and they did their fucking snap gay finger bullshit, and they ended up in that role. And they tried to dress them up like men, but everything about those dudes screamed homosexual, you know? And so it was just a bad commercial, man. That's all it was. A very, very bad commercial. I couldn't believe what the fuck I was seeing when I was watching this shit. I had to stop it a couple times to make sure it was an actual commercial and not like a spoof on these guys voting for. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. But, what did oatmeal do to you? There was a study a while back that oatmeal or excessive eating of oatmeal can raise estrogen in your body. It's why I don't eat oatmeal. And I used to drink oat milk until I saw this meme about a woman holding a guy up and go, this is the kind of guy that drinks oat milk. Boom, right in the garbage. Threw my oat milk right away after that shit. I will drink raw milk or nothing at all. And occasionally half and half. Nora said I got HIV watching that commercial. Yo, you kidding me? That commercial was so gay, you felt the AIDS. That's how gay it was. I was like, oh, what is that? Are these men or this? I just don't know. I just don't know. But there are a lot of people, again, the black community is growing in their rejection of Kamala Harris. So that is a good thing. But, yo, someone said voting for Trump tomorrow. Maria goes, oatmeal gives titties? Well, yeah, I mean, you already have them, so you don't need it. But everybody else, men, don't need to be eating oatmeal excessively. You can eat it here and there, but not every day of the week. It's healthy. I'm going to eat it. Okay. Well, now you're going to grow a vagina and some titties. I hope you're happy. And then the hair on your legs are going to fall off. You know, like, whatever. That's why I said, Watchman, yes, oatmeal is good. It can help with blood pressure, but you shouldn't eat it every day of the week. That's what I'm saying. If you want to, eat oatmeal every day of the week, just be expected to start crying at movies and complaining about shit every time you go to a restaurant. That's all. Said he didn't like to brag about it. Alan Richardson eats oatmeal. Most people support Kamala Harris. I don't know where this guy, debauchery. But the debauchery guy, whatever the fuck his name is, Banks, Whitney, whatever he's watching the video, so he's still giving me a view. So he can say whatever. Listen, the trolls that come on here, they can say whatever they want. I don't care. You're still giving my video a view. I win. So anyway, Benjamin, I eat steak and eggs almost every day of the week. Almost every day. Except for when I'm at the Firehouse. I probably the only time I won't eat it. Because I can't. Because if you make steak for yourself, everybody else in the Firehouse is like, oh, what is this, a meat meal? You fucking asshole. I don't need to hear it. So I don't eat it there. I eat it at home. My son is scared of his oatmeal. He very well should be scared of his oatmeal. Debauchery. I'm telling you the truth. Whatever you're telling me, man, just keep watching. Keep being stupid and keep watching. We're all good. Someone's like, Eminem supports Kamala Harris. What a loser. Yo, it is what it is. Listen, everybody has the right to support whoever they want to support. I don't care. Again, it's when you use your platform like an asshole and then you start making videos about, like, offing Donald Trump and shit like that. That makes you a dick. I respect Eminem in the fact that on the other things he thinks about and thinks on. That makes sense. But some of the other shit, listen, we're not all going to agree. And our presidential election shouldn't be the defining moment for people to break up or stop talking to one another. I really don't think so. I know a couple guys in the Firehouse that will be voting for Kamala Harris. I know their wives will. It is what it is. We see their wives at certain events. We still say hello and hi to them. We don't cut them off, just because they voted for Kamala Harris or Biden at the time. Really real. That's the only thing I eat in the morning is ribeyes. That's the only steak I'm eating. Ribeyes for breakfast. Actually, it's more like lunch by the time I eat it. But yeah, ribeyes for my first meal. But anyway, with that, guys, AP says Whitney Botch concert. I don't care what the name is. Don't. We should agree to disagree. That's the thing. So everybody should be able to disagree from whatever it is. Why do so many people say stupid shit to you? Because listen, guys, start your own YouTube channel. I fucking guarantee you'll have stupid people saying dumb shit to you. It is what it is. Trolls are part of here, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. That's where the trolls live. These are the people who would never say this shit to your face. Right? So when people talk shit, I'm like, yo, listen, man, anytime you want, we can meet here, there. People don't show up. Nobody shows up. Because they want to talk that shit online. And maybe not because maybe they could kick my ass. Maybe they just don't want to deal with the headache of having to get into a fight. Nonetheless, it just makes people brave. Let it be. I don't give a shit. Truthful trolls. Wagyu ribeye. I bought so before everybody cuts my nuts off about this, I bought Wagyu ribeye. The best Wagyu steak you'll ever have. It was ribeye Wagyu. It's the best steak you will ever have in your entire life. But the steak was like $186, $190. Really expensive. But the best steak ever. I will buy that steak once a year. Because I live by myself now and treat myself to it. If I was still, at home with the wife and kids, I would have to take a loan out to get everybody, steak and Wagyu. Wagyu ribeye steak, excuse me. Someone says, Johnny 308 says, Wagyu ribeye sucks, don't waste your money. Do not listen to Johnny 308 on this one. Don't. Because that shit was the best piece of steak I ever had. And it's also where you get it from too, Johnny 308. If you're getting it imported from Japan, it's absolutely worth it. There is American Wagyu. American Wagyu is not the same. I'll tell you that right now. So if someone goes, oh, this is American Wagyu, throw it in the fucking garbage. Japanese is the only way to go. Right? Japanese Wagyu. That's why it was so expensive, because it was imported as well. But, yeah, Yuri Bezmenov tried to warn us, I don't know, because his interview wasn't nationwide. Jason tried dry-aged ribeye. I have. Listen, one shot, one kill. I tried all kinds of steak. Wagyu, they even have a dry-aged Wagyu. Yo, that shit will change your life. Dried-aged ribeye just here in the United States, it's fucking out of control. It's the butteriest or buttery steak you'll ever have. Whatever. It's the best steak you'll ever have. T-bone's good too. T-bone's good at a restaurant. That cowboy steak, that's a ripoff. That's the one with the giant bone. If I'm not mistaken, that's a ribeye with an extended bone piece on it. It's still a good tasty steak, but it's not something worth it. Debauchery. Everyone loves Kamala Harris. So there are people out there, guys, who are mentally ill. And before COVID, we started seeing the mental illness on the rise. You have people, guys, who will scream at you for wearing a MAGA paraphernalia, whatever it is. Johnny D says you pay for the bone. Yeah, exactly. You're wearing a MAGA hat or whatever it is, and people will scream at you. fucking lunatics. And why? For what, right? Porterhouse steaks are great too. I love those. But ribeyes are my favorite. Tomahawk steaks. Tomahawk steaks are good. Aren't tomahawk steaks ribeye steaks with a bone, like a giant bone on the end of it? If I'm not mistaken. He's an excellent segue. But, so with the MAGA people, with us wearing Trump paraphernalia, people are screaming on everybody and carrying on. And you do not see Republicans turning around to Kamala Harris people and screaming and yelling at them. We don't do it. Now, some people might do it, but there are more videos, guys, and this is just what we see on the internet as is. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you'll see as is Democrats screaming off the top of their lung because they don't like being wrong. They don't like being told facts. I've never seen a Republican scream at a Democrat for whatever mumbo jumbo that Democrats are going to make up, because 90% of this shit is lies. But sometimes, just sometimes, they do get it right every now and again. But thank you, Debauchery, or whatever your name. I really can't pronounce it, nor do I care. There are a lot of names on here, just too tired. Benjamin, anyone use hot sauce on their steak? First of all, if you use hot sauce or ketchup on your very expensive steak, you should be dragged out of the building and dealt with accordingly. Putting ketchup on your steak should be illegal. There should be a national law on no ketchup on steaks, right? You should definitely be banned from all restaurants around the world. You should definitely lose your American citizenship and be shipped over to Africa somewhere if you put ketchup on your steak. People that do that should just, no, just don't. That's it. Just don't. If you put ketchup on your steak or hot sauce on your steak, you should be committed to 12 hours of The View for 2 weeks straight. 12 hours of The View, 2 weeks straight. Just watching them bitches cackle and carry on. Because it's disgusting. That's why, SR, he says, why no ketchup on steak? Who does that? That's animal shit. Maybe if you're eating like a shit, like chuck steak or something like that, maybe. I'll grant that. But ribeye, porterhouse, Wagyu steak, you put ketchup on it? The View. Matter of fact, 12 hours of The View and 12 hours of Rosie O'Donnell jumping jacks naked. That's what should happen. Those are your punishments. Boom, right then and there. So I come to a restaurant, I see you putting ketchup on your steak. I call the fucking steak police. They come and get you, and then you disappear for 2 weeks. Hopefully you learn your lessons. Ketchup only belongs on fries. That's it. And a cheeseburger. Maybe a hot dog if you're one of those people. But that's it. Anyway, the things that we should be talking about today that's going to take up most of our time is something, guys, that the UN just signed off on back in September 20th. It's called a Pact for the Future. Now, in this pact, matter of fact, I'm going to put the PDF file in the chat so you guys can read it for yourself. Now, Sherry Tenpenny, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, brought this up and talked about there's so much wrong with this. They couldn't get the pandemic treaty passed, so they ran with this, and they snuck this in, according to her, in a last-minute ditch effort to pass a totalitarian guide, if you will. Now, let me get this to you guys so you guys can read it for yourself. This is a very interesting document, if you will. It's 56 pages long. Now, the pact was to be adopted fairly quickly. The pandemic treaty was stopped, failed. A lot of countries didn't want to give over their power to the World Health Organization. That is why the pandemic treaty failed. Russia and China were out on it. The United States were trying to negotiate it. A lot of African countries said outright no, because in the pandemic treaty, they wanted that power during a pandemic. So whatever situation popped up, whatever new disease popped up, the World Health Organization, under the power of the UN, would step in and take full control over that health crisis, whatever that is. This is the pandemic treaty. Now, the pandemic treaty, again, didn't pass. It failed. So then they moved over to something called the Pact for the Future. Indigo? Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Update on my parents. Good news is that I got them into an old folks home. Bad news, they both voted for Kamala Harris already. Very good. They just busted them back and forth. Nice. If I'm not mistaken, last week she asked if she should commit her parents to an old age home for voting for Kamala Harris. He said, good news that they're in. But, so, guys, this pact is very, very concerning and or dangerous, because the timeline on this is they want everything done by 2030. That is 5 years and 3 months. 2 months, excuse me. 5 years and 2 months till we get to 2030. Everything in this pact is almost impossible to achieve. We're going to go over a majority of the things they want to discuss in this pact, because half of it I can't believe. The other half, I'm like, for this to work, something has to happen. Something catastrophic has to happen for them to gain this much control and to have other countries jump on board. Now, according to Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, 193 nations are on board with this future pact. This future pact, guys, sounds super unreasonable. We're going to go over a lot of it, but yeah, man, you're not going to like it. So, the first page is the Pact for the Future. We're going to read Title 1, I guess. We, the head of the state and government, representing the people of the world, have gathered at the United Nations headquarters to protect the need and interest of present and future generations through the actions in this Pact for the Future. We are at a time of profound global transformation. We are confronted by rising catastrophic and existential risks, many caused by the choices we make. Again, guys, read this very, very carefully. See where this is going, because this isn't going in the direction you would think it's going in. Fellow human beings are enduring terrible suffering. If we do not change our course, we risk tipping into a future of persistent crisis and breakdown. Now, again, keep in mind, there are a few hundred factories that are still open in China, Russia, India, that are still pumping tons of chemicals into the air and into the ground and water. We are causing that, but they're trying to get at the fact that cars and cows or meats are causing the climate shift imbalance. So, number 3. We're going to jump to number 4. We believe that there is a path to a brighter future for all of humanity. Let me finish this. Including those living in poverty and vulnerable situations. Through the actions we take today, we resolve to set ourselves on that path, striving for a world that is safe, peaceful, just, equal, inclusive, sustainable, and prosperous. A world in which well-being, security, and dignity and a healthy planet are assured for all humanity. Now, this is the problem. This pact, if you will, this document, a lot of you are going to read it. This document is reaching for the stars, fantasy, Lord of the Rings world, shit that's never going to happen and or exist again, unless something catastrophic happens to the world. Now, the only catastrophic thing to happen to the world that will get us all on board with this would be another release of something catastrophic, i.e., Mr. 19 on steroids, or Ebola, or Marsburg, or monkeypox times 10. Or it starts raining gay men and they start transmitting their bullshit. You choose, but that is the catastrophic thing that has to happen for this pact, or sorry, this document to work. So this is number 5. This will require a recommitment to international cooperation based on respect for international laws, without which, excuse me, I lost my place, without which we can neither manage the risk nor seize the opportunities that we face. This is not an option, but a necessity. Our challenges are deeply interconnected and far exceed the capacity of any single state alone. They can only be addressed collectively through strong and sustained international cooperation, guided by the trust and solidarity for the benefits of all, harnessing the power of those who can contribute from all sectors and generation. God, that was a mouthful. All that sounds like, guys, is that sounds like bullshit. That's what it sounds like. So let's get to the first part. Okay, sustainable development. So I'm going to read off the sections. So this is section 1. I think it's like section, I don't know, 20 something. But anyway, section 1 is sustainable development and financing for development. That's a mouthful. So this is about tackling poverty and hunger around the world. So according to them in this document, guys, they want to get rid of all poverty. They want to get rid of hunger altogether. We know how they're going to do the hunger part. They want to get rid of and quell violence and peace and create peace all over the world. That is never going to happen. I don't know why it's taking us to realize that, but that is never going to happen. So again, guys, this is supposed to be done by 2030. So this is section 1. In section 1, I think it's called Action 1. We will take bold, ambitious, accelerated, and just and transformative actions to implement the 2030 agenda, achieve the sustainable development goals, and leave no one behind. What does that sound like to you? Action 2. We will place the eradication of poverty at the center of our efforts to achieve this goal by 2030, also known as the 2030 Agenda. Now, guys, we've spoken about the 2030 Agenda. We've spoken about the 2050 Agenda. They are mapping this out for us to read. Anyway, I'm reading somebody's comment here because I can't believe what I'm reading sometimes. Anyway, Action 3. We will end hunger and eliminate food insecurity and all forms of malnutrition. Oh, shit, fuck, piss. Seriously. How are you going to do that? Now, they break it down how they're going to do it. So one part of it is support countries and communities affected by food insecurity and all forms of malnutrition through coordinated actions, including through the provision of emergency food supplies, programs, financing, support of agricultural productions, by building national resilience to shock, and by ensuring that food and agricultural supply chain functions and market and trade channels remain free and accessible. That's not going to work. But whatever. Very good. Rick, I just read who you blocked. I think it's funny, but whatever. Action 4. We will close sustainable development goals, financing gap in developing countries, poor countries. Sustainable development goal. We could read this shit for hours. We're not going to do that because I have a life, you guys have a life, and You guys can read this for yourself. Action 5, we will ensure that the multilateral trading system continues to be an engine for sustainable development. Action 6, we will invest in people to end poverty and strengthen trust and social cohesion. Strengthen trust and social cohesion. I don't like the way that sounds. That is in Action 6. Action 7, we will strengthen our efforts to build peaceful, just, and inclusive societies for sustainable development, providing access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels, and uphold humans and their rights and fundamental freedoms, whatever the fuck. Action 8, we will achieve gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls as a crucial contribution to progress across all sustainable development goals. They are beating that word sustainable to death. To death. Holy shit. What the hell? Someone said ammo up. Yeah, man. All right. Action 9. We will strengthen our actions to address climate change. Now that part is pretty long, like the subsections of it, but they talk about recognize the traditional fuel can play a role in facilitating energy transition while ensuring energy security. They want to work with places that are having energy problems. Again, that's Action 9. Read it for yourself because it's just frustrating. Action 10. We will accelerate our efforts to restore, protect, conserve, and sustainably use the environment. Action 11. We will protect and promote cultural and sport as integral components of sustainable development. Action 12. We will plan for the future and strengthen our collective efforts to turbocharge the full implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development by 2030 and beyond. Oh my God. Section 2, International Peace and Security. Action 13. We will redouble our efforts to build and sustain peaceful, inclusive, and just societies and address the root cause of conflicts. How are you going to address the root cause of conflicts when every conflict has a cause that will never be solved? Like, i.e., the Middle East. Oh, boy. Action 14. We will protect all civilians in armed conflicts. How are you going to do that? Again, and they're pretty, like, adamant and confident that they're going to get this done in 5 years and 2 months. Action 15. We will ensure that people affected by humanitarian emergencies receive the support they need. No shit. Action 16. We will promote cooperation and understanding between member states, diffuse tension, seek the pacific settlement of disputes, and resolve conflicts. Action 17. We will fulfill our obligations to comply with the decisions to uphold the mandate of which the International Court of Justice may in case to which our state is a party. In any case to which that doesn't make any sense either. Whatever. Action 18. We will build and sustain peace. What does that sound like? We will build and sustain peace. Has anybody seen the movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale? That's what that sounds like to me when I read, how do you build and sustain peace? And they say they will do it. Not that they might or they're going to try. They will. Everything here, guys, states that they will do it. Deliver, and this is Section A, Part 39, Section A. Deliver on our commitment in 2030 Agenda to significantly reduce all forms of violence and related debts rates everywhere. So again, this sounds not good. Prairie Farm, thank you for the donation, man. Appreciate it. From my Jersey farm. You got a farm in Jersey? Oh, that'd be cool to visit. Thank you, Prairie Farm Table. Appreciate it for the donation. Anyway, Action 19. We will accelerate the implementation of our commitments on women, peace, and security. Action 20. We shall accelerate the implementation of our commitment on the youth and peace and security. Action 21. We will adopt peace operations to better respond to existing challenges and new realities. Action 23. We will address the serious impact and threats to maritime security and safety. Action 23. That was Action 22. Action 23. We will pursue the future free from terrorists. We will pursue a future free from terrorism. I don't know how they're going to do that, but again, very equilibrium-esque, if you ask me. That is controlling everybody's emotions and minds, keeping everybody in the collective to pull off something like this. The only way they're going to do this is with a new round of arm tickets and 5G. Maybe 6 or 7G by the time they get this established. Action 25. Action 24. We will prevent and combat transnational organized crime and related illicit financial flows. Action 25. That was Action 24. Action 25. We will advance the goals of world free of nuclear weapons. Again, what does that sound like? That means you have to have every nation dispose of and or keep on the lock and key their nuclear firearms. Weaponry, Action 26. We will uphold our disarmament obligation and commitment. Action 27. We shall seize the opportunity to associate with new and emerging technology and address the potential risk posed by their misuse. Jersey Cow, Raw Milk Farm. I'll look that up, Prairie Farm. Thank you. Or somebody's going to have to remind me that later, because I'm definitely going to forget about that. But Jersey Cows. I'll look that up. All right. Science and technology. The Section 27, seizing the associated emerging technologies. They talked about, we recognize that this is 48. This is Section 48 of Action 27. We recognize that rapid technology changes presents opportunities and risks to our collective efforts to maintain international peace and security. International law, including the Charter, will guide our approach in addressing the risk. We decided to advance further measures and appropriate international negotiations to prevent an arms race in outer space in all its aspects, which engage all relevant stakeholders consistent with provision of the Treaty of Principle governing the activities of state in exploration and use of other outer space, including moon and other celestial bodies. Wow, that took a fucking turn for the worse. Section 3, Science, Technology, and Innovation and Digital Cooperation. Now, this part here, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in this document, they talk about getting rid of misinformation and disinformation and controlling technology and controlling information, as they want everybody to be on the same page. That right there, guys, is where things get really, really bad. Anyway, Action 28, we will seize the opportunity presented by science, technology, and innovations for the benefit of the people and the planet. Action 29, we will scale up the means of implementation to developing countries to strengthen their science, technology, and innovation capacities. That was Action 29. Action 30, we will ensure that science, technology, and innovation contributes to the fulfillment of human rights by all. Now, again, according to this, guys, they want everybody to be on the same page. That is an impossibility. And again, the catastrophicness that's going to happen. Now, why am I talking about catastrophic events? Well, our own government talked about the continuity of government plan, making sure that elected officials can get replaced should something big happen, and get replaced in a timely manner instead of the 3 months that it would take to replace them. They want it done within a week or two. Now, they just recently met to plan out the continuity of government. Then with that, you had the United States military being given the green light by the DOD to fire upon American citizens and or kill. So you have all of these treaties, all of these new amendments coming down, and this just dropped in September the 20th, and then September 27th, the DOD gave the United States military operational authority to use deadly force on American citizens. The timing of this, guys, is not a coincidence, not at all. This is something that people need to be aware of, because if obviously, guys, if you're reading something here and you're reading something there, and you don't put two and two together, you're gonna miss it. But when you start looking at the timeline, you start looking how everything's starting to fall into place. You look at this treaty, the Pact for the Future. You look at the DOD directive, was it 52450.01? You look at that directive, which was done September 27th. You look at the continuity of the government, which was talked about back in June, if I'm not mistaken, or July. They started talking about that. They started meeting about it, rather, excuse me. You look at the pandemic treaty, which was a couple years ago. All of this, guys, is leading up to the 2030 agenda that a lot of people have been talking about for years. And now it's all coming together and a lot faster. And yes, Truthful Troll, they're going to control the food, without a doubt. This is how they get everybody on board with this shit. They get everybody on board and they get rid of hunger and poverty by controlling the food. Action 31. We will ensure that science, technology, and innovation improves gender equality and the lives of all women and girls. I don't know why that's in there or what that means. They should just say for the human race. They keep splitting this shit up for women. I can't figure out why. Maybe one of you guys who are smarter than me can figure it out. Action 32. We will protect, build on, and complement indigenous, traditional, and local knowledge. Action 33. We will support the Secretary General of the UN to strengthen the role of the United Nations in supporting international cooperation in science, technologies, and innovations. Section 5 for Youth and Future Generation. Action 34. We will invest in the social and economic development of children and young people so that they can reach their full potential. You know how kids can reach their full potential? Take phones away from kids, or rather outlaw phones and tablets from kids. Keep them on a healthy diet, have them play outside, keep them homeschooled, and you'll get the child of the future you want. Keep having them go to public school, staying on their phone late at night, vaping at 12, 13, 14 years old, and you're going to have a bunch of retards running around, being controlled by the government. That was Action 34. Action 35. We will promote, protect, and respect the human rights of all young people and foster social inclusion and integration. I don't know what the fuck that means. Action 36. We will strengthen meaningful youth participation at the national level. Action 37. We will strengthen meaningful youth participation at an international level. Section 5. Transforming global governance. Action 38. We will transform global governance and reinvigorate the multilateral system to tackle the challenges and seize the opportunity of today and tomorrow. They talked about the Second Third World War and how things were good for the last 80 years, but things are starting to fall apart. That's what they talk about in Transform Global Governance. And this is them reaching for fucking more power. Action 39. We will reform the Security Council, recognizing the urgent need to make it more representative, inclusive, transparent, efficient, and effective, democratic, and accountable. That's Section 39. Section 40. We will strengthen our efforts in the framework of the Intergovernmental Negotiation of Security Council and reform. Closing something out. Action 41. We will strengthen the response of the Security Council for the maintenance of international peace, security, and its relationship with the General Assembly. Action 42. We will increase our efforts to revitalize the work of the General Assembly. Action 43, we will strengthen the Economic and Social Council to accelerate the sustainable development. Action 44, we will strengthen the Peace Building Commission. Action 45, we will strengthen the United Nations system. You see where this is going? The United Nations, guys, is looking to gain more power. That's what they're looking for. And of course, guys, when we were talking about the DOD, when we were talking about the DOD Directive 5245 0.01, in that directive, there was another directive that was amended giving non-U.S. contractors the authority to the authority to carry weapons, the authorities to carry firearms on American soil. That normally actually found out, that normally goes for contractors overseas and other militaries. So if they also updated another directive involved in this, not good. And if the United Nations is looking to strengthen their system, what do you think that means? So again, guys, this isn't looking good. This is all coming together. I hope people are paying attention to what this is and how this is building up to be something bad. Action 46, we will ensure that the effective enjoyment by all human rights and respond to new and emerging challenges. Action 47, we will accelerate the reform in the international finance architecture to address the challenges of today and tomorrow. All right, a lot of this shit is bullshit, it's boring. I'm going to skip around a little bit because we are running out of time. But you guys, again, we left off at Action 46. We can definitely scroll down a little bit, get into see what else is a little more pressing. But again, this is the UN, guys, reaching for more power. That's what it comes down to. Yes, the blue helmets. This is a guide in mapping out what exactly they're going to do. But all of the directives and all of the things that we're seeing changed here is allowing them to possibly operate here. I'm not saying that they're going to. I'm saying that it might be giving them the power to operate as such. Let's see what else. So now Annex 1, they're talking about digital compact, global digital compact, not impact, compact. And this is where they were talking about getting everybody, if I'm not mistaken, on board with a digital ID. Go fucking figure. They talked about having progress across all digital platforms and digital devices. This is page 37, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Annex 1 Global Digital Compact. It starts at page 37, And then they talk about commitments and actions, close all digital divides, and accelerated progress across sustainable development goals. Again, a doctor pointed this out. This is pretty interesting shit, guys. This is a decent read. It's a lot of reading, but it's a decent read. Again, they also talk about trying to grapple with misinformation and disinformation. So this, unfortunately, guys, is a plan that they are sharing with us and how they're committed by 2030 to get this all in place. Now, as far as keeping it running, who the fuck knows? But to get it in place, guys, you have to, something has to happen. Now, on page 42, they talk about digital currencies or a digital economy. Anyway, expanding inclusion and benefits from the digital economy for all. Again, that's talking about digital currency and how and what it's going to look like. It's almost a play-by-play. That's on page 47. Then that's not close by. Then they talk about internet governance. We recognize that the internet is a crucial global facility for inclusivity, and equitable digital transformation. To fully benefit all, it must be open, global, and interoperable, stable, and secure. This is what they talk about, if I'm not mistaken, the misinformation part. They talk about digital trust and safety, and this is them wanting to get their message across and what they deem dangerous or not. And that is giving them world access to what is being shared on the internet. Again, does not look good. They want to monitor and review digital platform policies and practices. This is on page 45, section F. Monitor and review platform and policies and practice on countering child sexual exploitation and abuse, which occurs through the amplified and by use of technology. Now, I have to say, yes, we all want child abuse material off. But the thing, guys, with the child abuse, with them going after it, is it gives them a segue into going after everything else that they don't like. So they're going to start with sex trafficking and child abuse material online. They're going to start with all of the child stuff online, and then they're going to segue their way right into everything else. This is where it starts. Now, clearly, there is a middle ground. Just get rid of the child stuff and leave everybody else's shit alone. But they won't stop there. They never do. So they're looking, and again, this part makes sense. This is page 45. But by 2030, they want to eradicate it all. They're trying to eradicate, guys, things that'll never, ever stop. And I don't understand how and why they would do it. I don't know how they would go about it, actually. I just don't get it. So moving right along, and whatever. So a lot of this stuff, guys, is basically digital currency, controlling misinformation, and controlling the human race globally. Not just a section, globally. And they want all countries or all nations on board. And a lot of nations not that they jumped on board with this, they didn't really exactly vote on it. There was actually no voting on it. They snuck this in at the last minute so nobody could vote on it. So when they snuck this in at the last minute, they gave people no time to read it or look at it, and it got passed in the United Nations counseling bullshit. So now they get to implement this or try to convince people of implementing this. There are a lot of nations that are not going to go along with this shit, especially after some of it what I read. Now, I'm definitely going to go through with this with a fine-tooth comb, but nonetheless, guys, this isn't looking good. So now, Annex 2 is Declaration for the Future Generations. This is just them talking about how they're going to keep us safe and keep everybody fed and keep everybody, away from getting hurt. It's all bullshit. But again, you guys have the PDF file. Please read it, look at it. Tell me what you think. But this, guys, is lining up to be what we've been warned about for years, right? Project 2030, I didn't really know until a couple years ago, and you guys brought it to my attention. Now, of course, I'm following things here and there, and it's all starting to line up. They gave the 1075 University Ave. Damn it! Fire in a 6-story. Sorry, excuse me. I get fire notifications like the buff I am on my computer screen. Some of you are gonna be like, "That's gay." It is gay, but I like reading about where fires are in the city. Anyway, at least in the Bronx and up here in Manhattan. Not so much in Brooklyn. Who cares about Brooklyn and Queens? The armpit of New York City. Equilibrium, Frank E. Equilibrium was the movie that I talked about. It is a very good movie, by the way. Matrix-esque, but it's about controlling humans through way of their emotions, and that there's no emotions in the human race. And very good movie, cleverly done. The reason why the movie didn't do good is because it came out at the same time The Matrix did. The same exact time. So when The Matrix was released, it was either The Matrix or The Matrix 2 Reloaded. It was either The Matrix Reloaded or the last one, and Equilibrium came out at the same time, and it didn't do well because no one paid attention to it. But when you watch the movie now, you're like, yo, that's the 2030 agenda unfolding in a movie. Anyway, guys, with that, I'm going to go off the air now. I'm going to head over to the Angry Truth channel. That's going to be a shit show for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to get off the air. Jasenia, I will thank you for that. She said, fix my title. It looks stupid. This very dangerous situation is happening soon. This very dangerous situation is happening very soon. Yeah, I'll fix it, I guess. Elysium is another ball game altogether. That's some space shit. That's like Mars. Yeah, like that's some ridiculous shit there. But we're not gonna get into that. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. I will see you guys Thursday for the doubleheader. If not, I'll see you Friday for the doubleheader in Bowling Green, Kentucky. All right, guys. Other than that, thank you. I appreciate it, and I'll see some of you guys in a couple minutes.